if you're out there listening and you're like, should I do a group photo? The answer is no, and it will be no for the entirety of 2024. Come and talk to me on the 12th or 14th or whatever day you're listening to this in December next year, and tell me if you regret not having a group photo in 2024. Case closed. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Make It Epic Wedding Podcast, and it's the last one for 2023. Holy dooly. Hello, Tim. Where has this year gone?
Last one of the year, mate. I am well. Where has the year gone? Mate, I don't know. I really don't know. Like, we're talking about, it's the 12th of December. What the actual?
I know. It's wild. Like, yeah, I don't know. It blows my mind when I think about this year. It's kind of, for me, it's just been a giant blur of learning fatherhood and shooting some weddings and
a big year for the old Ashton household, right?
Yeah, it has been a big year. It's been a wild year, and yeah, it's been good. And then obviously, like with the business, it's been pretty hectic. And then with the podcast, that's just, I don't know.
It has been a year for growth,
bonkers.
My friend. It has been a year for growth. That is for sure. 2024, there's some big things happening, but you know, my eldest daughter, it's her last year before she goes to school. And I'm just like, how? Yeah. How? Like I had a, you know, I have a baby. I still have a baby, and she's going to kindergarten. It just doesn't feel right. Just does not feel right.
It's hectic. And maybe before we reminisce too much about the year it's been, and you know, this podcast, we are talking about what's going to be happening as well, or what we think might be happening next year, I suppose, with some trends. And then we're also talking about some stuff that you know, that we're excited for in our own businesses. But before we dive into that, I feel like we need to bring up the weekend, mate, because me and you
I don't want to think about it. I don't want to think about it.
The last few weeks, me and you have shot a lot of weddings together. I think we've had like, out of the last like 6 weddings we've shot, I think like 3 or 4, maybe 4 of them or something like that have been like together, which is great. Always a good time.
But just quickly, before you go on, like how, I don't know, like maybe it really is, you know, how we are marketing ourselves, and, you know, a lot of it has to do with the podcast and how we show up. But a lot of our couples are just absolutely freaking legends and just amazing people. Like, I have never had such like just an amazing string of just really fun weddings aligned with like couples that are just, you know, we hit a point and it's a level of connection that just goes far beyond like just the film. So I'm really excited, man. I'm really excited.
I think they're also legitimately like excited for us to be there, which I know it sounds ridiculous. Like, because if you're investing in a vendor, you want to be excited that they're going to be a part of your wedding. But I definitely think, like, you know, us talking some schmack on the old podcast, it definitely helps. People get to know us. By the time we turn up, they feel like we're best friends, which I love it. I do love that aspect of it for sure. But we definitely have had a pretty good run of, you know, like, I feel like I always have great couples, and I feel very blessed and lucky to have that. But there's definitely been like a bit of a shift into some like really, I don't know.
We're going to touch on it. We are going to touch on it.
And yeah, look, I feel like we just need to start with like the weekend was hot. Hey, like I reckon it's probably one of the hottest weddings I've shot in a long time. Just like, you know, in terms of temperature, you know, it was
definitely up there. Definitely.
It was a big one. And then also, like, you know, throwing in that as well, like there was some moving parts on the weekend that made it extra fun. You know,
mate, I almost died. I literally almost died.
Oh, you did. You swallowed an arancini ball, and Tim came over to me and he looked at me like he'd literally seen, I don't know, the light.
So I proper choked. So I decided during the canapes, it was hot and sweaty as F. And I just like, yep, sweet, I'll take one. It was, the arancini ball was that hot, and I just decided to just swallow the whole thing. It got stuck down my throat, and I was literally gasping for air. And I ran away. From the people at Canapes to be like away alone to see if I can handle this myself. And I'm sitting there on my knees going,
he came over to me and he was like, I literally just had a moment where I actually couldn't breathe. Because he looked at me like, and I was like, are you all right, mate? You been crying? And he's like, no, I just nearly died. and then just like kind of like walked away. So it was like, and then I'm like, what do you mean you nearly died? And he came over like really aggressive towards me too, like as if I'd done something wrong.
No,
Like,
because you're taking your time with family photos, mate.
yeah, my fault. I took my time, and then yeah, Tim nearly died. So that's number one eventful activity that happened on the weekend. I feel like there was just so many little things on the weekend that like we could use for the, like, I don't know, for our book that we one day will write. That every vendor always jokes about writing, but I feel like the highlight for me, and I literally, I'm just going to let everybody know that I told the couple that I was going to bring this up on the podcast, and they laughed at me. So if you're out there listening, Hannah and Tim, this one's for you. But
love you guys, absolute legends.
It was hot, right? So let me just start. It was a hot day. Everyone was a little bit probably dehydrated, and Tim is a identical twin, and like
legit identical,
proper. Yeah, and the only difference probably on the day, because obviously his brother was a groomsman, and the only difference on the day I would say is that he had a beard. So his brother, Tim's brother, had a beard, and Tim
I would
did
say it was a little bit of stubble.
Stubble, okay. Yeah. And I would also like to say that it was a bit of a stitch up because they did something a little bit different where I haven't seen it for a long time, but the bridesmaids stood behind Tim and the groomsmen stood behind Hannah so that the bridesmaids could see Hannah's reaction and the groomsmen could see Tim's reaction. So it was a little bit different because it was flipped, right? So I'm just going to start with that. But Hannah's mum, bloody legend, she had a good old chat with us and she was super lovely, but she did a bit of a boo-boo. She walked down the aisle and it was great and everyone was happy and smiling. She gets to the end and she goes to pass Hannah off to, you guessed it, the brother. So pick the wrong brother.
Not the groom.
Not the groom, exactly. And Hannah yells out, "Mum, that's the wrong guy. It's the other brother." And everybody could hear it. And it was a bit of a classic moment. I can't say that in my however many couple of hundred weddings that I've shot, I can't say I've ever seen that happen before. So that was a bit of a classic, and definitely started the day off well.
I'm trying not to die again. Like my eyes are watering.
And Tim's still choking on his arancini ball in the background.
No, like it didn't help that it was about, not even joking, about a meter between the arch and the first row of chairs either. So that definitely didn't help. So
it was quite close.
Set that up. Absolute boo-boo.
Yeah, it wasn't ideal. And then I also would say that like the week before, like at the same venue, the like where they typically would have that their ceremony, a tree literally blew over and snapped in half, and it's like their focal point tree of the venue. So it kind of, there's a lot of spanners in the works for this one. So a few last minute changes and things like that. Throw in the heat, and then
umbrellas up everywhere.
Yeah, it was a fun time. It was a sweaty time. I wore shorts. I enjoyed it. Tim wore pants.
Yeah, I can't wear shorts at a wedding. No. I'm sorry, I can't. And if you're a wedding vendor out there, especially if you're a dude, like,
help us.
Yeah, please. Like, even if you're a couple, if you're a bride or a groom or whoever listening to this, is it okay for vendors, especially blokes, to wear to wear shorts at a wedding as a vendor?
When it's like 35 plus degrees or, something like that, like there's a number in my head, 35 plus.
I just don't want to get my hairy legs out, and
I'm getting my knees out.
Yeah,
my knees are coming out. You're gonna see my knees,
mate. You look like Sasquatch on the day.
It's okay. It's all right.
All right, let's have a chat about the year that was 2023, my friend. We did a lot. We had a couple of projects. We just finished one monster one, which almost took us the whole year. That started literally that almost took us the whole year. But let's walk through some of the projects that we've done this year, and just to kind of give a little bit of an update to our audience, and just to kind of let you know of, what did we actually work on, and what do we learn from these experiences as well. And the first one I really wanted to chat about was Studio Ninja, because Studio Ninja are an absolute, they are a game changer. They literally change how we run our business. They are the reason that we run our business the way we do. We talk about systems and procedures quite a fair bit. So, and we actually got Chris Garbix, who's the owner and director of Studio Ninja, on the podcast earlier in the year as well. And he really spoke about, how Studio Ninja came to be one of the most well-renowned and most suitable like CRMs for photographers, for vendors, and for service-based providers as well.
Yeah. And I feel like, if you are a vendor out there and you are still in the dark ages using Excel spreadsheets or pens and papers and diaries and all that goodness to try and keep track of your life, your work life, it's probably time to change that because I don't know, like the last couple of years, if it's taught me anything, we don't have enough time to do the day to day for our business and we need help. Sometimes it's not something that we can hire out, human help. But Studio Ninja is like having a virtual assistant. It's like having a human
It's
helper
it is
in
like
your
having your
corner.
own team. It
Yeah.
covers the job of so many different roles. And like we can't really mention it without saying that it is the backbone to our business. It is the reason that, we can actually work full time creatively because we don't have to spend that time in admin, sending out invoices, email workflows, contracts. So many different aspects of what Studio Ninja does takes care of the role of admin essentially. So
100%.
we're not going to talk about that too much, but we do want to mention that we did, as individually, we do mentor some other creatives in the industry as well, and we talk about Studio Ninja a lot, and we do have a free course for those that do want to purchase Studio Ninja. And if you purchase Studio Ninja with our code, you do get the course for free, which will walk you through how to set it up to be an absolute 0 to pro at Studio Ninja. So we're really excited by that. But we did get some feedback on that, didn't we?
Yeah, absolutely. And there was definitely some people that were like, you need to do an advanced version of this. So, watch this space. Maybe 2024, that's what we'll work on, an advanced version of this course. Because I feel like if you are diving into this, it can be quite overwhelming in like how to get started and just like, little bits and pieces. So for us, like when we did create it, we made sure that we kind of ticked every single box that we possibly could on a basic level to get you started. Studio Ninja does have a great like team that do help you out, and especially if you're already using like a different CRM, like client management system, they'll help like get you set up and migrate all of your current clients into like Studio Ninja, which is
Which
great.
is
So
super easy to do. They provide such a simple service.
yeah, absolutely. But the people that did use it and that have used our course so far have been frothing on it. It's been so easy for them. They've been all giving us some good feedback. We've, been trying to think about how we can change some things up and also how we can elevate it for potentially a more advanced course and give more value to you guys out there, because me and Tim know that the community that we already have kind of started to build already probably are using something like Studio Ninja, and they're definitely probably not using it to the potential that they should or could be.
Yeah, and we are referencing the CEO of Studio Ninja here, who really did indicate that most people are not using Studio Ninja to their full advantage, which we think is a massive missed opportunity and really is a detriment to your own business because all it does is provide you more time to work on the things that are important to you. But let's just mention that code again, mate, and then we'll move on to what we've been working on for pretty much the whole year.
Yeah, legit. So yeah, if you're keen to jump on Studio Ninja, if you're not using it yet, or if you're using something else, make sure you use the code Make It Epic 50. You get 50% off for the first year, and then send us a DM if you do that, and we will also give you free access to our Studio Ninja course that will help you set it up like a pro.
Beautiful, beautiful. And mate, we actually released a vow guide not too long ago. How about you walk us through that?
Yeah, literally. We literally launched the Vow Guide last week with two absolute legends who we've had on the podcast now twice. They're probably the first people that have come back on to the podcast, and that's Mr. Married by Adam and Georgia Fletcher. Two legends. These guys are absolute larrikins, pelicans. I don't know how else we can describe them, but these guys have a wealth of knowledge and information stored up in their brains, and we kind of worked with them to create this vow guide so that I guess like for me and Tim in the past, we've gone to a lot of weddings, and some weddings there's been like vows that are like quite traditional and straightforward. There's others that have just been boring. And then there's, it's a downfall, like, so sometimes we want people to have like some like you want some really nice vows and you don't know how to do it, that's pretty much where this came to
We just
fruition.
knew it could be done better.
Yeah.
And we know writing your own vows is a pain point for a lot of couples. As a filmmaker, I love to have this conversation with my couples about asking them, what are your vows? Especially a couple of weeks out before the wedding, when I start to storyboard their film, because it really gives me an idea of, the things that are really important to them, the things that they value, and it gives me a bit of a look into inside of their relationship based on the tone that they write with. So, like, are they saying a lot of jokes to each other? Are they super serious? Is it a bit of a rom-com? Is it super romantic? And that really helps me provide a more like premium service in the way I produce my films as well. So understanding that really is a benefit to me as well, but it also making sure that you could write vows that are unique and personal was such a barrier to most people that I found.
Yeah. And you like if we can make it easier for you guys and you can get the most epic wedding film possible, or if I can use some of the stuff that you talk about in your vows throughout the day when we're doing portraits, like for me, I find it like speed dating. I think I said that last week in the episode. Like it's kind of like speed dating. I get to like learn lots about you guys really, really quickly. It's fresh in my mind. There's some funny bits. I can use that later. There's always someone being like, "Oh, you always make me smile and laugh," and we can definitely use that to our advantage through portraits. So for me, it definitely elevates the day, not only for you guys and for your video, or for me as a photographer for like your portraits, it also elevates the day for your guests, because your guests love the fact that you had personal vows. They get to like find out more about you two as a couple, especially if they don't really know you, like both of you really well. Like again, for them it's a great experience. And the amount of times that I hear like people coming up to the bride or the groom or the couple saying, "Oh wow, your vows were amazing," that always makes me smile, because I guess it just really like justifies the fact that people are listening to everything that's being said on a wedding day, and especially during that ceremony.
Exactly. So over the course of the year, we have created what we have coined the guide to crafting the most epic vows. And it is a monster guide. We have collaborated, like Matt said, with Georgia Fletcher and Adam Sini, in my opinion, two of the best celebrants that I have worked with for many reasons. Like they're just amazing humans, first of all, but they also know how to tell a story. They know how to run a ceremony that is personal and unique to each couple, and I get a kick out of it every single time. But the vow guide really does walk you through everything you need to know about vows, like why you should say vows, the difference between personal and private vows, how to write your own vows, how to start your vows, lots of golden nuggets from all four of us, and why it's important to really write vows that are unique to you and your relationship. So again, huge resource. But we that is obviously a paid product. But we didn't want to leave you hanging, so we did create a bit of a vow template as well, which includes essentially vow starters and complete templates on writing your own vows. So if you want an absolute free version, you can download that. We'll actually leave the link in below.
Yeah, sounds amazing. And we're also, I think we've got like maybe 3 more weeks. We're going to do a sneaky little discount, 50% off if you do buy the paid version of the vow guide. As Tim said, 60 pages long, heaps of information. It's a huge resource that we've put together with a couple of absolute legends. And that's something we've been working on all year long. Maybe this is a little spot for me just to throw in there. If you are out there, you're listening, you're planning your wedding for 2024, 2025, and you're like, this guide's amazing. I need another guide that's going to help me with dot dot dot, because you are struggling with dot 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 in your wedding planning process, and you want us to tackle another project that hopefully doesn't take a year. Please let us know. Drop us a message, because we'd love to hear from you guys, because we're definitely going back to the drawing board and working on some things, I guess a couple of different things that are going to be new for next year.
Interesting. Interesting.
Interesting. Watch this space.
All
I feel
right.
like I feel like the next one, Tim, that we like. I don't know. I was super excited when these guys came and jumped on board with us, because I'm sure if you've been listening for a little while now, you know that we have a couple of sponsors, and these guys are VidFlow. Like they are probably one of the first companies that jumped on board and really
Yeah.
supported the Make It Epic wedding podcast, which I love. And I'm going to let you talk about it because VidFlow is a creative company that's right up the video realm more so than photo. And if I talk about it, I won't know what I'm talking about.
So,
I'll do it a
yeah.
disservice.
No, look, VidFlow is our first major sponsor of the podcast, and hats off to VidFlow because over the course of this year, we have learned to really partner with brands that are offering a very valuable service to their clients. And one thing, which is one of our values that is very important to Matt and I, is client experience. All right. Matt and I both have individual brands, which we value client experience as one of the top priorities of the services that we provide. So from a video perspective, VidFlow is a company that offers a platform for videographers to provide their films on essentially provide a movie-like experience. So there's no sending videos through a link or Dropbox or Google Drive. So if you are a videographer and you are sending your films through that, you really need to ask yourself if you are providing the best experience for your couple. So hats off to VidFlow. They are absolutely amazing. If you are a filmmaker, reach out. We'd love to provide you with some information and a code to get a VidFlow account, which provides your clients with the most amazing client experience when your couples watch their wedding film for the first time. It is their own complete gallery website. You can link it to your TV. You can have it as an app, and it maintains such a high quality and a standard for when your couples do watch their film. It blows anything else out of the water. So I've been using VidFlow for 5 years now. It's been absolutely brilliant. It can be branded, and everyone knows that I'm a huge fan of branding. So VidFlow, you guys are legends. Thank you so much for sponsoring the podcast. We absolutely love you guys. And if you are a filmmaker out there and you want to level up your client experience, reach out to us and we'll provide you with a sneaky little discount. Now, mate, let's talk about 2024. Okay. 2023 was a big year for us. We learnt a lot. We had a few things that which we ticked off the old bucket list. What's happening for 2024? Give us an insight into Matt Ashton photography.
Mate, lots is happening. There's lots of things I'm trying to implement and change, but I suppose the biggest thing is probably for me is I am going to be taking less weddings than I have the last couple of years. I don't know. It's not something that I'm not very good at saying no. So that's probably like one of the big things for me is like learning to say no to some weddings. I suppose, especially the ones that I'm like, sometimes I feel like I get a bad vibe about. And I know that sounds really weird to say. And I probably
No, not at all. Not at all. Like I don't think it is, man. Because I think like as business owners, like we definitely we need to be able to say no for our own health as well. And taking care of ourselves just means that we can take care of others as well. But yeah, no, I think it's definitely something that I'll do something pretty similar moving forward as well.
I feel like if we like keep saying yes to everything and we have a bad feeling about it. I was thinking about it today and I was like, if I do that, I'm literally doing the couple a disservice on their wedding day. And I'm potentially ruining their wedding day just because I didn't have the balls to say no, I suppose, or I didn't have the balls to listen to the fact that I felt uneasy about something. I don't really like, there's nothing specifically, and it's not like it's anything that anyone has done, just prefacing that. It's just that sometimes you get a feeling and a gut feeling and you're like, oh, I don't know if I should do this one. So I'm learning to say no in 2024, that's for sure. And it's something that I'm kind of excited about because I have a lot of things that I would like to do. Me and you are not great at doing one thing at a time. As you probably can all tell out there, we are pretty busy in our own businesses, but we still do this and then we do something else and then we do something else. So there's a lot of things that, I guess I myself want to do, but also I guess me and you want to do too, Tim, that we just don't have the time for at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
It's something that we will definitely be working on. How about yourself, mate? Anything new in the above below visuals world?
Yeah, there's definitely some changes happening, and I think probably a similar situation. Like as as I grow as a business owner, as the business goes, I really want to, I suppose, like 2024 is already a busy year. I do want to focus on taking less weddings moving on, but just ensuring I'm working with good vendor teams. And this is not to be disrespectful to any couple or any other vendor, but I suppose I want to prioritize maintaining a premium level product, premium level wedding films, and to be able to do that. I feel I need to work with good vendors and couples who I really align with. And obviously, providing a premium service is something that's important to me and a good client experience, because that really fills my cup, and it's really noticeable, especially lately, working with certain couples that we just click with so well. It's amazing vendor teams, and like your product is just elevated because of all those factors, and that's really something that I want to move into more of. And like, to put it out there, that's something I only want to do, essentially. So again, saying no to when we spoke about the personality traits as well a few episodes back, and like if there is a feeling of, I suppose, a Zilla, like I've just got to be comfortable in saying I'm sorry.
Yeah. And like, without sounding cocky or rude, but I feel like the way that we have kind of like marketed ourselves and our businesses are running currently, like, I don't know, the amount of times that I may say yes to a wedding in the past and then I get an inquiry for that same date, that I probably should have said no to before. Like, it's
Yeah.
crazy, right? Like, and we are quite busy. Like, for me, I would say next year I'm well over 75-80% booked, I would say. Maybe more. I don't really know. I probably could stop saying yes to
Yeah.
weddings now, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I'm in a similar position.
It's just one of those things where it's like, how far do we go? Where do we say no?
Well,
Yeah.
it's also, like, it's also with the things that we do have planned, it's also leaving room in the tank and energy and time to be able to focus on those tasks as well.
Yeah.
And there's a couple other things, like my branding. I want to be able to enhance my brand further to, attract, I suppose, a more premium market. But I also have been shooting Super 8 recently, which I freaking love, man. Like, I absolutely love it.
You standing
and
there
I-
going click, 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 click.
It actually doesn't sound like that at all.
That sounded like a BB.
Yeah. So if you don't know, Super 8 is like, it's film, essentially, and the process of it is absolutely, like, phenomenal. Like, there's something so nostalgic and so amazing of actually shooting something and then not seeing that footage until you send it off to a lab and then get it sent back, and it's just like, it's like Christmas Day to me. It really is. So Super 8's been something that's been really, really popular with a lot of my future couples. So shout out if you're seeing some Super 8 across my social media and you want that as part of your highlight film, hit me up. But yeah, I'm really interested in shooting more Super 8. And I suppose, like, collectively, we both want to keep building and helping to elevate the standard within our industry as well. Matt, do you know how we rave on about client experience a little? And do you want to know the golden nuggets behind my client delivery system?
Not really, but anyway, I know you're going to tell me, so shoot.
Thanks, mate. Love that. But we're all about leveling up our client experience. And if you're still delivering wedding films to your couples with Google Drive or Dropbox, then you really aren't giving them the best experience, are you? And this is why I use VidFlow. It's a pay-per-use online platform that allows you to deliver on-brand websites with your very own domain for each of your clients while still being incredibly affordable. And VidFlow is accessible on mobile, desktop, and my absolute favorite feature is the fact that it links to your smart TV so your couples can watch their wedding film on their own big screen. And with all that effort that you put into your film, you really want to ensure your couples can have the best experience possible. So use our code MakeItEpic20 for 20% off your VidFlow yearly premium membership.
Absolutely. Yeah. So if you don't know already, we do have a vendor Facebook page, which we're
Shout
always
out to all
open
you legends.
Yeah, we're always open to having some more peeps jump on there, especially if you're keen to have a bit of a chat with us and I guess really interact with us outside of, I guess, the podcast and as vendors only.
I'm just going to put it out there. We do have a no dickhead policy. So
if you feel like you're a dick, come on. No, but like I feel like, like even today, like we just chat general chit chat. It's not so much like it is business related, but it's also like just general chit chat because like I think I put one up there today being like, hey, who survived the weekend? Any good stories? And people were jumping on saying how they were lost 5 kilos, sweating their asses off. Sometimes we'll put up there, I don't know, some trends that are happening or something that we've been seeing lately. I guess for us, we really want to make sure it's like a safe place for vendors to maybe like ask questions and vent or just not feel so lonely because the wedding industry, as vendors, it can be a little bit lonely at times and it can be something that, like for me, I've been in my office today for a very long time. Yes, I've had a lot of meetings, but I do like, I guess, just sit and stare at a computer screen.
You just get lonely,
good amount
mate.
of time.
I get it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. You were busy today. I couldn't call you. It was upsetting. At least, yeah, true. At least with photos, I usually put a movie on, watching a few too many crappy Christmas
I
movies.
I just listen to the same music over and over and over for about, I don't know, 200 hours.
Yeah, that's great. It's good.
Yeah,
that's why you're a normal person.
Wrapping all the video out there, video editors out there.
That's definitely something that we would love to continue to do. And I guess leading into that, like, what is the plans for 2024 for the Make It Epic Wedding podcast? Where do we want to see it go? What do we want to do with it?
There's a lot. Yeah, look, I think
the world is our oyster.
Oh man, don't put this on me. Yeah, look, there's a few different directions, and obviously we want to keep delivering value to you guys and keep up with the weekly episodes, and it's something that's ingrained in us as well. Over the course of the last year and a bit, we've really loved coming on here and having a chat. And, as you touched on it before, being in the creative realm as a wedding vendor, sometimes can be quite lonely. Like the wedding day itself, obviously, is just one day where we get to hang out and actually like shoot our work. But the rest of that time, for that project is at home editing.
Yeah. It's a lonely time, but I feel like, for us, we're like, today is episode number 60, which is huge. We've been going for like just over a year now, which is wild. And to be honest, this year has, maybe we give ourselves a pat on the back, but like we've grown, immensely this year in hopefully the way that we not only deliver the podcast, but just in the people that's reaching and the people that are listening to us. And we've been getting a lot of love from people on Instagram and
also a bit of hate,
bit of hate, which is great. It makes me really excited. It's mainly directed at Tim too.
I'm gonna interrupt you there. If you send us a hate message, I'm going to personally read your message out.
From now.
Actually, so we've got a message from a wedding vendor, and no, I'm not going to do that.
Tim's pulling his phone out. We like you. It's okay. I understand why you're upset. Tim's just rude. Anyway, but for us, I feel like the direction that we want to go, and maybe it's something that you guys can help us on out there if you are listening, and you're like, hey, Matt, Tim, we want you to do this. We're all ears for it, because sometimes for me and Tim, we get really big ideas, we get really excited by these big ideas, and then we go, it's not going to stick, we just don't know the direction we want to go. So maybe I should have stopped talking. I feel like sometimes I talk so much crap that we like, and we just fluff around the top a little bit, and we never get into like the nitty gritty and like give the golden.
What about
nuggets.
here? Sorry to interrupt. Let me jump in here. So what about on the weekend where some of the bridesmaids were like, we absolutely love you guys. Can you talk more about like the wedding stories? Like we want to hear the juicy parts, like the things that have gone wrong.
Or right, or fun,
or right,
or epic.
Yeah. So, yeah, they wanted to hear stories. So let us know. Do you want to hear more wedding stories?
Because we could make it a weekly like little like segment, how you used to throw me under the bus and be like, what irks Matt this week? We could do like just wedding stories or something. Like we'll come up with something funnier than that. Funner. That's not, I don't know if that's a word. Anyway, I think the things that I would love to do in 2024 for the podcast too, and this is us just having a brainstorming session so we can record it, remember
Sure,
it
mate.
later.
Maybe it won't go
Sure.
live. Maybe
Probably won't work. Anyway, I would love to do some more courses, which we kind of touched on earlier, and maybe that's like whether that's courses or whether that's like a guide, something like that. That would be amazing. So I'd be keen for that.
We've definitely got lots of ideas for guides. I think the problem is that the level of quality that we need them to be is not something that we can just roll out in a week or two. Like it is something that takes
some time.
A lot of time and energy and effort, especially even on the design side. Like I'm an absolute fiend with that. So, but like courses for you, like for me, I would really love to do a vendor to vendor workshop. And I know we've got some mini workshops coming up at an expo. We can chat about that another time. Where we're going to be talking to couples about how they can elevate their wedding planning experience. But what's something else, mate? What's something else that's on the cards that you would like to do in 2024?
Look, I'm definitely down the workshop path for sure. Like, sign me up for that. It's just a matter of us getting our heads together, finding some time that we can actually do it, and actually completing it. Yeah, like I'd love to like definitely take the episodes, keep them kind of as we have been doing, but add a bit more like, I don't know, structure to them maybe, or like we're just touching. Yeah, just a bit like I'm sick of just giving the little like buttery bit on top. I'd like to give you guys a little bit more answers, or maybe like not beat around the bush so much like I feel like I'm doing right now. But yeah, I don't know. I don't even know.
Cool. Well, before this episode turns out to be a super long one, let's move on and chat about our trends for 2024.
This is what we actually jumped on to talk about today, and then
we shouldn't have given it away in the intro. It's taken us an hour to get there.
Yeah, literally 35 minutes later or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
And
if you haven't known, Matt and I like to talk a bit of schmacko, but
we haven't recorded for a little while either, Tim. So it's been a while. But look.
Yeah. Trends, well, you spent 3 minutes talking about me dying, mate. Like, just relax.
It was a good time. No, it wasn't.
All right. Trends for 2024. Look, I'll go first, man, because I love this, and I've been having this conversation quite a fair bit with a few vendors and a few couples lately. And this is something that we've actually spoken about for a while, which is really, really interesting to see that it's actually like coming to fruition of the things that we've spoken about for the last couple of months. And that is for 2024, I think a trend of very, very short portrait times and more focus on canapes and actually being present to enjoy canapes themselves. Something that you paid for the entertainment, you paid for the music, you've like whatever the entertainment was, you paid for the drinks. You want to be there and enjoy that time with your guests. So I think that is going to be something that is going to be not just a trend, but I think it's going to be something that is going to be more consistent rolling on from 2024. And even if our client meetings, we're having this quite a fair bit where they're like, we want to do portraits really quickly so we can get to canapes. And it's even to the point where we're changing ceremony times to be an hour prior to the original allocated time, which is really good.
I feel like it's such a misconception that like every single photographer in the world or videographer has to have 2 or 3 hours for portraits. Like maybe like back in the day, it may have been something that people thought was necessary, but I feel like it's definitely a trend that is changing. And
for some, definitely for some, I'm not here to put any business owners like under the bus whatsoever, but there are some vendors out there that definitely want.
They thrive on that longer time.
Yeah. So
which is cool.
Yeah, which is cool. Right. So maybe the couple want it, maybe they don't. But I think, moving forward in 2024, like couples are definitely making more intentional decisions on timings, but also vendors as well. So being very intentional with their vendors and vendor teams. Because something that I touched on like earlier in the podcast was really like having a vendor team, especially like your creative team, can really not just elevate your experience, but also elevate the final outcome as well.
Yeah.
Super 8, I have to mention that. I think that that's definitely a trend that's moving forward in 2024, and really like just not being afraid to make some like creative decisions to like elevate not just the film, but the vibe. So like short form content with Super 8. Like vintage cars is something that I'm seeing a little bit more of. Shout out to Rory and Dan. We did a bit of a surprise. So Dan surprised his new wife during the portrait time with like a 73 MG convertible, and yeah, amazing
Vibes.
experience. Absolute vibe. Black suit, mwah. Love it.
Yeah, all about the black suit at the moment. Hey, like I feel like
it's just
you can't go wrong. Timeless. It's not really a trend. Is it a trend? I don't know, but it's something that we are loving. I'm all about it. Give it to me.
I've got a few more, but walk me through, mate. What do you think of some trends for 2024?
I'd say maybe like smaller bridal parties,
yes,
wedding parties, like something that's like, gone. I feel like we're not doing the 4+ anymore. Even like 3 is quite a bit. I've been loving, 1, 2, mates there with you guys, family members, whatever it may be. I've also been loving the like bright colors, different dresses, like Gone are the days that having like exactly the same dress and exactly the same color. Like, I don't know who you're going to talk about here, but like Emma and Matt the other week, they had like some bright colors with their bridal parties. Maybe more so for the ladies, they had like different colored dresses in different cuts and things that suited each bridesmaid to their body shape, which is amazing. Beautiful. With some pumping epic florals as well.
Yeah.
All about it. Love it. At the moment, it's a vibe.
The bright colored or even the multicolored like florals and styling that we've been seeing has just been absolutely phenomenal lately.
It's been popping.
I've been working with some really, really amazing florists and stylists. So shout out to all you absolute legends that we've been working with lately, because it really does elevate the experience. It elevates, our content as well, but it also like it's your couple's vision come into life. So, and to see them see that for the first time, and to capture that is something that's pretty special.
And I feel like I've been like focusing a lot on like the details of like florals and colors and all that sort of stuff lately, which I actually feel like for me personally, it's really elevated my like product at the moment, and like the
100%.
way that I've been giving, I guess just the way that couples have been getting back some of their photos, trying to include a lot more detail. And I guess talking on detail, probably one of the other trends that I reckon is going to be a big hit for next year is like talking around like the dress, or like the bridal dress specifically, where I'm thinking like we're thinking big sleeves, maybe it's puffy sleeves. I've been seeing a few of them recently and I've been frothing on it. I'm itching to shoot someone with a puffy sleeve. I've also been seeing lots of like long lacy sleeves and like the detail around that.
See, I love that, the long lace sleeve. I think you're more of a fan of the puffy sleeve, but the long lace.
Yeah. I don't know. But I'm a vibe. It's a bit weird for guys to talk about that. The other thing I reckon is like even inside, like in the bridal dress, like some like extra details, meaning like it might be some big like statement bows. It might be like some alternative colors. Like we always see that white ivory. Like, I don't know, if we can see some color in that, that'd be awesome too, just to change it up. I feel like next year is, as Tim was saying, is definitely something to like get out of your comfort zone and like maybe do what you've always wanted to do and you've been scared to do it in the past because of the trends that have happened. But I think that the way trends are going, there's a lot less like, I guess, the way that it's all going, everyone seems to be pushing the boundaries a little bit and doing things a bit different.
Which I really, really love. Really, really love.
Got any other ones in your bank of...
I do, mate. Tim? I do, and this might be a little unconventional, like to some, but I think destination weddings are a bit of a trend, and I can say that because I've got quite a few destination weddings booked next year, and we got one together. We're on an island off the coast of Queensland, which is going to be pretty cool.
I'm so keen for that. It's
mate, I'm keen to sip on a pina colada in a spa bath, and we can do a podcast episode.
We'll go live. That'll be really weird for us to sit in the spa bath with a pina colada going live on Instagram. That's the new thing for Make It Epic.
Oh, man.
But I think definitely, like, I'm a big fan, and the ability for like having a destination wedding, especially if you're like bringing me and Tim, whoever your vendor team is, potentially it gives the opportunity to do something, say the night before or the day after your wedding day itself, and to really capture a weekend event. Look, that's something that I would absolutely love to do. I know Tim would as well, and we have got a couple of them, which is an awesome awesome thing to be a part of. But yeah, definitely like the wedding festival, the wedding weekend, destination wedding. Where's your bucket list to go, Tim? Have you got a bucket list of like venues, or not even venues, just locations that you'd like to shoot in?
Um,
Are you like the classic European kind of holiday, like summer holiday
kind
vibes?
like yeah. Look, I suppose
It would
like
be cool to do. Don't get me wrong.
yeah, like now, like I'm really looking for priority. I suppose like priority is the couple, like who they are, their values, what they want from their wedding. Is it aligned with what I love to shoot and what I want to create as a premium high end product?
Yeah,
But
but
like
the location, Tim, the
venue
location.
wise, like as long as that's okay, like that is a priority. Like for a venue, like something that is really like different to the rest, something with like architecturally like really nice leading lines, something with a bit of structure, with a view, with like neatly like neat gardens, like
Areas.
something like
What about an area? Or you had something like a tell me something like a uh, uh,
something like almost like Redleaf. I know that's really like it's like everyone's favorite.
Oh, I'd love to
So,
as well. Sign me
something
up.
like Redleaf, but there's also a place in Sydney called Guestlands, which has
Yeah.
this like beautiful Italian vibe, and like I've got this dream of like creating a film in like an Italian inspired way with like Italian songs and just mixing like Italian culture into it, and having the couple make a cake like where they're layering the sponge and putting their like raspberries and their powdered sugar, like yeah, like I think it's really testing the limits of your creativity, and I think they're the things that are really exciting me. I know I've just gone off on a tangent on the cake.
You've dropped this cake thing a couple of times to me, like not on the podcast, but just in the past to me. You're like, I really want someone to build a cake in front of me. Like it's a very it's different. I like where you're going with it.
Well, at least I don't get haters from cake makers, so that's a good thing.
Yeah. Hint, hint. So if I don't know. For me, I'm a big fan of like at the moment, I don't know, like it's probably the classic that every photographer would love to go, but I've been there, so I would love to go and do it, which is Iceland. I'd love to shoot like an elopement, a wedding in Iceland. That would be pretty bloody sick.
Yeah.
It's very different to probably what I would typically normally do, but I would be all about it. Sign me up. I spent 2 weeks there when I was
That's cool, man.
Yeah,
That's
like
cool.
2016, 15. I spent 2 weeks there.
Yeah, it's not something that crosses my mind, but that's really epic. That is actually epic.
So if you are going to Iceland and you're looking for a photographer, please hit me up. Love to come. But yeah, I don't know. In terms of like venues in Australia, I'd love to do like around Uluru. Is that the right word for it these days? Anyway, I'd love to do like Uluru. Something around there would be really cool. Like, middle of the desert vibes. I have one more. Shout out to Matt and Holly, Alt Media. These guys, I shot with them the other week. They actually got engaged recently, and they showed me their potential wedding venue. I'm not going to say exactly where it is, but
that's sick. Yeah, that is sick.
Holy heck, this place looked off the chain epic. Like it was in the desert. It had like, you went to this look up and it looked out over a full entire mountain range. It's in outback Australia. Wow, this place looked amazing. Off the beaten track, not something you'd see on the daily. Look, to be honest, at the moment, anything for me that I can shoot that's like not the same old places that we probably would go on a weekly basis. Not to say that I don't love them, I definitely do, but I'm just saying, like, if there's a destination location that I could go to that is a bit different to normal, I'd absolutely love it. That would be amazing.
Yeah, like it will definitely test your creativity in ways that I suppose you don't get to test that. And for me, it's like it's not something that I often think about. Like it's not a goal necessarily to like go in Iceland and shoot, although I would absolutely love it.
I'm not searching for it. I guess that's the same. Like I'm not like out there.
But if you are getting married in Iceland, hint, we are available.
I also would like, and like we definitely have got on a tangent here, but I just want to quickly say, like, if you're planning a wedding and you see someone you love and you're like, oh, but they've never been to that venue before, you need to get that out of your head as if it's a roadblock for you. Because for me personally, and I know you're probably the same, Tim, when we go somewhere new, our excitement level and creativity thrives. And I'm just going to say that again. When we go somewhere new, our creativity and our excitement level thrives. And that's because it is somewhere new. It's somewhere we've never been before. We're going to get there early. We're going to do some research. We're going to look for the best spots we can go. And we like literally for that time of your wedding, the world is our oyster to do something different that we've never done before. And we can get creative. So trust your vendors, especially if they're like seasoned professionals. I've definitely, I suppose, lost quote unquote weddings before that are in epic locations because I've never shot there. And that's a little bit disappointing because I'm not going to be able to shoot at every spot in the world. I'd love to, but I can't. So yeah, that's probably my little 2 cents there. I've got 2 more things that I want to add to our trends for 2024 really quickly. One, and I've seen it a little bit recently. We saw it at the very start of the year with an elopement that we did. And then I also saw it again the other week, which is like vintage inspired cakes, which like got some cool like little
nice
frosting on there and things like that, potentially in the shape of a love heart, bright colors, all about it. Love it.
It's a bit retro, isn't it?
It's a bit cool. Retro. Tim hates cake, but that's okay. But I am all about it. I love a good cake. Sign me up. And
well, so, I'm glad you mentioned cakes because
I'm hungry. No. And then the other one is ditching the fake exit, probably in lieu of something more like night portraits. Like in the last 2 months, these night portraits for me have been some staples that I've been doing, I suppose. So sneaking out for 5 minutes, maybe taking a bottle of champagne, bringing like a wine, maybe it's bringing a cocktail, and literally
playing some tunes,
having a good time, like literally for a couple of minutes with a flash, with a light if you're with a videographer, with both, and having just a little bit of a moment with each other, potentially before your before your creative team leaves for the night. That's kind of where I'm at the moment.
Yeah. No, I love it. And, I feel like it's definitely suited for, especially if you're having a very short portrait time, a
shoot portrait time. Far out. We're getting to the end of this episode and we're going downhill fast.
It's really late. Let's wrap it up.
Absolute.
But yeah, look, it is another opportunity to just like have a rad time and take some have another portrait time really. And I think if you get into canapes and you're having a very short portrait time during the day, it's really like some time in the night to actually take advantage and do some really cool stuff.
Change it up a little bit.
If that doesn't align with you, then of course, but we love to like offer this to all our couples to see if they are keen. Not everyone is, so that's fine. If you don't want to come off the dance floor, completely fine. Like we absolutely get it. We'll just keep rolling. But I really love it because it really, it's moving away from fake exits, which
the word makes me cringe a little bit.
I can't do it. I can't.
Even tonight in a meeting we had, someone was like, "Oh, should we do a fake exit?" And I was like, "No, just no."
No. If you want to do a fake exit, you can do a fake exit.
We probably should have prefaced.
Very rarely does it work out the way you want it to.
Yeah, and we probably should have prefaced that, like tonight, in this episode, all the things that we're saying, there's nothing you have to do. You don't have to follow the trend predictions that we're throwing out there. You also don't have to listen to us at all when it comes to these things.
You don't have to get married in Iceland,
But if you do, we want to be there. Actually, I just thought of one more. Oh no, I'm really sorry, Tim, but I'm going to throw it out there. My trend, and this is something that I'm quite passionate about at the moment, is talking about group photos, right? Group photos. I am against them. That's it. Full group. And when I mean group photos, I mean like full entire wedding guests, everyone in a little packed position. I'm totally against them. I'm calling it. We should stop doing them for the entire wedding industry because you'll never ever look at them. I promise you, unless you get a magnifying glass out and zoom into a bazillion on your iPhone with the magnifying glass as well, you're not going to see the people's faces. I guarantee 90% of the people's eyes are closed. They're not looking, and it ruins the vibe. Can I tell you why it ruins the vibe,
mate? Do you need air?
I'm really passionate about this. I feel like we need to stop doing them. And the reason why, I'm just going to tell you didn't say yes, so I'm going to tell you anyway. But the reason why I feel like it ruins the vibe is picture this. You walk down the aisle, you've got the woo girls, as I call them. Everyone's so excited. They're pumped to see you. You're married. They want to come and hug and kiss and high five and cuddle and leave their makeup all over your dress or your suit, whatever it may be. And then you have this photographer stand up on a chair yelling at you at the top of your lungs. we're going to do a group photo, get in behind the bride and groom or the couple, and we're going to smash out this group photo. And I've literally in that moment ruined the entire vibe of the afternoon. The music stops. You
I
listen
think
to
group
me
photos are good, man.
screaming.
I think they're good
No,
because
get out.
the couple get to have one photo with all of their wedding guests,
No.
in one photo.
No, they're never going to look at it. You're taking the piss right now. They're never looking at it, and you know that. So anyway, if you're out there listening and you're like, should I do a group photo? The answer is no, and it will be no for the entirety of 2024. Come and talk to me on the 12th or 14th or whatever day you're listening to this in December next year, and tell me if you regret not having a group photo in 2024. Case closed.
Look, of all the hundreds of weddings that I have shot over the years, I think I've used footage of the group photo. Maybe a dozen times.
A dozen times? No way you've used it. I want proof.
Sometimes I have.
I want proof of you using it a dozen times. There's no way in hell you've used
every
it.
Every time I cull, I go through it. I'm like, most of the time, I'm like, yeah, no.
Exactly. Thank you. All right. So, Tim, before we wrap up, I want to ask you, what's one moment from 2023 that if you can pick one, what's one moment that you're like frothing about, you're super excited about, you're thankful about? I don't really know. One moment that stands out from 2023 from all the weddings you did. Can you think of one? It's a big call. Do you want me to go first? What are you thinking?
It is a big one. Like a couple come to mind. A couple definitely come to mind. But shoot, tell me what is your one thing from 2023 that just stands out for you, my friend?
Mine actually is from the weekend, and you were there, and I'm using Hannah and Tim as an example again, and I hope Hannah's okay with it. But there was a moment on the weekend that me and you were a part of during prep that was a pretty special moment, and in that moment for me, I was standing there and I was like, holy crap, this is the reason why
I know what you're going to say. Yeah.
I do and Tim does what we do on a weekly basis. And we are so, I don't know, like we're so damn lucky to be able to be let into people's lives like this in moments that can be quite emotional, in moments that can be quite scary, in exciting moments, in all different aspects and all different feelings of a wedding. And for me, this moment was something that actually came out of the blue, and I didn't really expect it, to be honest.
No,
it was a special moment. And I expected it, but I didn't expect it potentially in that time, and I was kind of caught off guard a little bit. I didn't actually really know what happened at the time, but then I've been reflecting on it a little bit this week, and I was just like, heck, man, this is amazing. And it definitely, I know it only just happened, so it's a bit of a cop-out in terms of like what's an amazing moment for the whole year, but this really has definitely stood out because I was thinking about it today. And so Hannah's dad unfortunately had passed away, and it's something that, like as photographers, videographers, vendors, we do like have family members that we hear about like not being at weddings, and it's always like it's a sad time, right? And we always wish they were there. And Hannah had this beautiful little like pendant that she had got made, and her and her sister had put it on her bouquet, and her sister put it on a bouquet with her. We got a photo of it. It was beautiful, like really lovely time. And then her sister left the room, and we were going to do a first look with the bridesmaids. And for us, it was just one of those moments where we're like, yeah, cool. All right, let's get you all set up. And Hannah turned around and faced the other way, and she just took this big deep breath. And then she just made a few like little stuttering sounds, and then a few like little sniffles.
Yeah,
and
she lost it.
You could just tell like she wasn't doing great at that time. And the emotions were getting to her. She was really feeling it. And you know what? For me in that moment, I was like, holy crap, like this doesn't happen all the time. And like, that's a horrible, horrible thing for her to have to go through. And it's not a nice thing. And I don't wish it upon anybody having to do that. But for us, it was a really special moment because it just brought us back to reality a little bit. And I like me and you just like kind of like, we stood up and we're like, all right, cool. Let's fix this problem for you. Let's work out what we can do so that I guess like it's not you're not going to remember your dad, and it's not that you're not going to like have him with you close to your heart on the day, but that little pendant being on your bouquet,
just
is beautiful.
Held a lot of emotional carriage.
But there was a lot of emotional in that, like emotion in that. There was a lot of like, that meant a lot to her, but she literally said, she's like, I just can't do it. And we said, that's fine. Let's come up with a solution for you. And she literally held out a bouquet and was like, I can't have it on here. And we're like, cool, that's fine. And then she said, maybe my sister can have it. I said, you know what? that's a great idea, Hannah. Let's do that. So we took it off. We said, look, take a big, deep breath. We totally get today's an emotional day. And that's so special that you let us into that moment. And like number two for me in that time was like, holy heck, how nice is it that she trusted us to open up in that time and tell us what she was feeling? Because she could have had a bit of a tear and just said, no, it's okay, and just like brushed under the carpet. But she literally told us what the problem was. And I'm like so thankful that I get to work with couples. And I know you are too, Tim, that like we get to work with couples that feel okay to do that with us.
Yeah.
And so we fixed the problem. You know, we took that little bracelet off and the pendant off, and we put it back in the box. And then when her sister came in, we put it on her sister's bouquet, and her sister held it for the day, which I absolutely love. And I just want to say, Hannah, you might not be listening to this, but thank you for being open and honest and like letting us in. And also thank you for being vulnerable in front of us, because it's not easy to do and not everybody would do that. And I know that's a huge like story to finish on potentially. And I don't know if you've got any moments that you want to throw in there that you can remember from this year, Tim. But you had a bit of thinking time there, but now you're probably thinking about that. It's probably put a bit of a somber thing into it. But I just wanted to say that that's a super special moment, and it really pushes me to continue to want to create epic moments for people in 2024.
Yeah, definitely. And I suppose like I'm thinking about it now of, you know, the level of like vulnerability that she did show, and you know what we had to do to be able to ensure that in a few minutes she could walk down the aisle, and not ruin her makeup. So it was a very special moment, and I think as not just as vendors, but also as humans, like we needed to allow her to feel comfortable within that space, and also let her know that, hey, like this is a solution. This is okay. Like let's
and
get some music
it's a
played.
normal feeling.
It is
a normal feeling.
Let's not let this ruin like a moment. This is just obviously a sad situation, but we're going to get you married, girl. Like let's do it.
I feel like
she turned around within a few seconds.
Yeah.
And I think she was very thankful that I think some people might have crumbled in that situation. Like I was
literally about to say that. Yeah. I was literally about to say, like, it shows our like I suppose our experience, and like as blokes, it's not something easy for a girl to do in front of us. You know, like
it's definitely not.
And it's probably, as most blokes would be like, what do we do in this situation? You know, going back to the episode we did a few weeks ago, it's all about adapting, and you know.
But it's It also goes back to that level of like communication and connection that we had prior to the day as well, which again is something that, you know, I want to be a focus, because like that's just a perfect example of why you choose vendors that you can align with that have a high value on a client experience, because we understand, we get to know who you are as people, you know, not just like, okay, you're getting married, I'm here to just rock up and shoot. That's far beyond like what we do.
And we genuinely care about every single couple that we capture, and
so
we
you
sure
really did.
Sticks.
Yeah, you really did highlight a moment on that. Look, I've got nothing to add to that.
I've ruined it for you. Sorry, mate.
But look, we have definitely gone over time with this podcast, so maybe we can save this for another time, and we might end it on a bit more of a positive note as well.
Who knows? Anyway. We really appreciate you guys listening to us in 2023. What a year it has been for the Make It Epic Wedding podcast. We are so thankful to all of you guys out there listening, whether you're a couple, whether you're a vendor, whether you just like listening to me and Tim talk some smack on a weekly basis. We really, really appreciate you guys. Man, what a year it has been.
Yeah, we cannot wait for 2024. And yeah, again, thank you to everyone, our audience, the vendors that we've worked with, all of our couples, and even the couples that haven't booked us and just listen to us talk schmack. Like, we absolutely love you guys. So thank you so much. Let us know what you think. If you want us to hit some things in 2024 that will help you with your wedding or perhaps your business as well. So
Merry Christmas.
Signing out. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Yeah, get it.
Make it epic.
That was terrible. You ruined it.